Hello, everyone. We are here for another live podcast with two of our guests. Our usual guest, Mr. Bachuram Dahal, who is with me, and also another guest, Dr. Ispahan, also joining with us. Thank you for joining Mr. Ram and Dr. Ispahan with this today's show for our viewers. We'll be on live for next 40 to 45 minutes, and we'll discuss about the geopolitics and the current tension in the world, especially in the Middle East. So, Mr. Ram and Dr. Ispahan will give us their views and their opinion in this regards. So, I would like to thank you again, Mr. Ram and Dr. Ispahan. So, since Dr. Ispahan, she joins the first time, so I will start from Dr. Ispahan. So, if
Mhm,
I could ask you
mhm,
about that, the current state of the Iran-Israel conflict, and
mhm.
what is your view about that, the conflict? If you could tell something for our viewers.
I think like Israel has been like it is no big news that Israel has been using their military force over a lot of countries. So it came out of no surprise that it actually attacked Iran first, and I think right now the conflict did. When the conflicts did start among Iran and Israel, I do think Israel has a um, right, like I say, it wasn't right for Israel to start doing this, and Iran does have a right to defend themselves
Mhm.
and retaliate to the attacks that Israel followed. Not to mention the amount of their own citizens that were killed, about 70, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, it was a good.
But that's the volatile world we are living in. But Dr. Ispahan, what do you think about de-escalation? Because diplomacy should be used rather than the anywhere in the world war is. I mean, the normal people, the general people, innocent people normally the victim of war. So, what is your view about the? Do you think that it will be de-escalated by the by the major broker, major power like United States or the European powers? What is your opinion or what is your view about that?
I do think that all the European powers or other countries wouldn't want a war right now,
Hmm.
because already there is an economic clash, and the economy is not going well in the West,
Hmm.
all over the world, but in West particularly. They have the Israel-Palestinian war, and then there is Ukraine-Russian war. So they have already drained a lot of their resources. I don't think they would want another war between Israel and Iran. So I do think there would be a diplomatic uh, delegations to bring down the conflict or de-escalate the conflict. But it really depends on the two parties and what their interests are. So I don't know what the interest of Iran is, or what the interest of Israel is
Hmm.
in attacking Iran out of nowhere. So Iran did retaliate from the attack that Israel conducted on them. So I absolutely don't know how it will be de-escalated without Netanyahu actually wanting that.
All
So
right. Okay. In regards to as you mentioned that I am a war between Russia and Ukraine, I will come to you because you have got vast knowledge about Russian politics and so far I know. So so I would like to ask Mr. Ram if I could if you could briefly tell the recent events between tension escalated between Iran and Israel. So, what do you think? How has the conflict evolved over the past, year? Is this a new phase of continuation of long-standing hostilities, or is it is just a new thing, just dramatically evolved?
I think it is a continuation of the last one, and because Israel wants to occupy all the Gaza, and I think Iran and the other most of the other countries and all over the world, they don't want to Gaza, which is inside the Israel, but and Iran is just nearby the neighbor, and of course they are also protecting the country, not the country, but it is a different status. The Gaza is there, Palestine, so they want to protect, I think, because that is also a territory known by the all over the world. It is not declared as a independent state. Even then, all over the countries, most of the countries are not known in the scene, but Palestine is remarkably known throughout the world. So I think Iran wants to support, I think, and that is the main reason the Israel wants to take the retaliate over the Iran, and which is not good. I am not thinking that it is a good thing, because if you are taking some side of the neighboring countries, just helping to the humanitarian everything, and by making that sort of mistakes, if other countries, the Israel wants to take the retaliate, that is the not good things, and it is not going to be very safe practice in the world, because everybody wants the peace and harmony throughout the world, and due to the war situation throughout the world and different crisis in the meantime, the European continent is getting the very economically slow down at the moment. Even the America is not having the great mobility in the economic stability, and that's the reason world is in the trauma, economic trauma. This time, this sort of time, nobody wants to be in the war involvement, and this Israel and Iran, they should be taking the serious steps for the peaceful solution rather than
Yeah,
attacking each
exactly.
other.
Each other.
That is the
Exactly.
things I think,
Because,
and that is the things.
as I mentioned just a little earlier with Dr. Ispahan,
Yeah,
that the innocent people, the
yeah,
general
yeah,
people, normally they are the main sufferer in the both countries, whether it's
yeah.
Israel or in
Yeah. It is
um,
the
in
humanitarian
Iran.
crisis. Yeah, you are
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah,
all over the world there are a lot of humanitarian crises going on.
yeah.
So
That
war
is the
cannot
things.
take another one. So
Yeah.
if I would ask you about the major international powers like United States, Europe's, or China, how do they positioning themselves in this conflict? So in my view,
I think
they try to de-escalate to the both
I
countries.
think all of these powers are in the. I think they are in a pros. I think they are doing some things. I don't think any of the powers, whether it is a European or American or the Chinese or even Russian, they don't want to go further with the war situation. I think they are silently that they are silently doing some things to settle down the this type of war in the peaceful process. I am
Mhm,
sure that, but whether it is the outcome will be that right or wrong, we
mhm,
have to see, and we have to wait and see for some time.
mhm,
Hopefully everything will be solved, otherwise this may lead to the more serious conflicts throughout the world if it is not properly handled in his recent future. So I think all the major players are behind it, and
mhm.
there will be some solution. Let's hope so.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Let's hope.
thinking, and I'm hoping that nobody wants this type of agitation among the all of this. So I think this will be going down slowly.
Yeah, yeah. Diplomacy is the best way to to
Yeah,
resolve
yeah,
this kind of issue. So I will come back to you, Mr. Ram. Thank you.
yeah.
If I would
Okay,
ask
no problem.
Dr. Ispahan, because I wanted to ask you in my first questions, which is that you have got good the knowledge about Russia and the politics between Russia and West. So Are you there, Dr. Ispahan? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
So, what are the core issues driving the continued tension between Russia and the West today? If you tell this current perspective.
From current perspective, actually nothing works without history, honestly. So even like when you were talking about Israel, Iran, and all the conflict that's going on, it started from a long period before. Like it was ancient history. So similarly in Russia and West too, it just did not start just like that. So when Russia was a USR, when Russia was USSR, it had a lot of like it had a lot of power because there were a lot of
Yeah.
countries together, and they
Yeah.
were technologically advanced, they were scientifically advanced,
Mhm.
and West was advancing at the same rate. And
Mhm.
there was a silent war in all aspects, scientifically, military wise, political wise, economy wise, all in all aspects. So
Mhm.
what West and what Russia tried to do is like to assert their dominance over each other all through history, World War Two, after World War Two. So what
But
happened recently is
during World War II, um, you must know that Western powers and Russia um,
Mhm,
make their effort and did the work together to defeat
mhm.
Nazi Germany.
Yes,
That's
because
interesting, right?
that at that time they did join hands
Mhm.
to go against Nazi
Mhm.
Germany. They had a common enemy and they really wanted to bring them down. But it did not mean that the tensions went away. The tensions were still there because no matter what, West could not see how imperialistic or communist Russia was, and they did not like the power system that or power balances that was in Russia itself. So even if Russia temporarily did join hand with, if I'm not mistaken, US uh, to get rid of Nazi,
Mhm.
it's not like they were not in a good relationship. So that affected later on when Cold War started. So like we could see how there were different sanctions put on Russia, how Russia stopped their oil and trades, a lot of trades, and I think it did de-escalate a lot till
Mhm.
recent years until the Ukraine NATO
Yeah.
issue started. So what Russia decided is they found that West trying to occupy, like not occupy exactly, but asking all the nations around Russia to join itself was a
NATO's.
threat to
Mhm.
Russia in itself, because all the countries that were bordering Russia were joining NATO, which they don't see favorably. They think that Wests are always in joint junction to like bring Russia down.
Mhm.
So I guess they found that as a threat, which is why I think the
Yeah.
Ukraine-Russian war started, because Russia was of the notion that Ukraine is one of the countries that should not be joining NATO, because then majority of the countries that are bordering Russia would join NATO.
Mhm.
So I think that's where these things started, and then West started their sanctions over Russia, which Russia.
Can I just pause you here?
Yeah, yeah.
In regards to sanction, so
Mhm.
what do you think that have you do you think that Western sanctions against Russia been effective or it just counterproductive? What is your
So,
opinion?
so Western sanctions over Russia, there is two phase to this.
Mhm.
Two phase to this is, one is the media phase and one is how the citizens actually perceived the sanctions. So Russia is a very self-sufficient country, honestly. So they do not require other powers. So the
It's a
citizens
huge country,
themselves.
right? It's a huge
Yeah,
country.
yeah. So
Mhm.
citizens themselves, for example, Russian didn't need the dollar. As soon as dollar was like being, like for example, they had sanctions on Swiss bank.
Mhm.
So as soon as dollar was like, they kind of put some sanctions in which you could not use dollars in Russia. Russia changed their currency and then tried to like make the currency more universal and not depend on dollar rates, and that actually helped the country in itself. many of the branches that actually closed. For
So,
example, yeah,
so is that the way the Russia managed to stabilize
yeah,
its
yeah,
economy
yeah,
despite
yeah.
international sanctions?
Yes, I'm bringing this to tell you like how Russia actually stabilized itself when
Mhm.
sanctions were placed on it, because as you see, a lot of heavy sanctions were put on Russia,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
media was portraying how the sanctions are actually really bad for their citizens,
Mhm.
while in state in Russia itself, it did not affect the citizens as much. So
Okay.
the citizens, as soon as the sanctions were put, the government of Russia actually tried to value the dollars, like bring their currency out of the dollars and
Mhm.
put the currencies with other currencies like Chinese won or
Mhm.
yuan, and all those currencies, or bring the trade to BRICS instead and not to the West. So that's one way they de-escalated the situation, and most of the citizens actually did not feel the sanctions at all.
Okay.
The For example, the clothes stores or shops that were closed, after a few months, new branches showed up, which were, you could easily tell that these branches are the branches that are US and West based,
Mhm.
but they just need changed the names and marketed it, because that was actually a loss for the West, because they had a huge supply chain in Russia, and closing the and sanctioning it was actually causing a huge trouble for them in their trade. So
So basically, you are trying to say that the heavy sanctions, Western sanctions, or doesn't
mhm.
affect that much in Russia and in broader sense their citizens. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. That's what I would like to say, but I do not know like how in government, in diplomatic terms, how it
Mhm.
affected the structure. But I can tell through the citizens' eyes that it did not affect them much, the
So,
sanctions.
they have managed to stabilize their economy despite these heavy sanctions from
Yes,
economic
yes.
sanctions. Mhm.
Absolutely. Like, if you were in Russia during the sanctions time, even now, if you were in Russia, you wouldn't actually know that there is sanctions in the country, because it's just like the normal day to day life, the income, the expenditure, nothing changed. So it was exactly the same.
All right, thank you, Dr. Span. I will come to Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram, you know that when that conflict started between Israel and Iran, so what do you think about their, the Iran's military capabilities? Because in so far, I think that they don't have that much, the protection from the air defense system and all this stuff, because Israel got some dominance over their sky. So, what is in military perspective? What do you
I
think
think,
about their
yeah, thank you
all
for the
the
question.
defense?
I think the sky with Iran is not itself, Iran is managing at the moment, I think, because Iran knows what is going to happen in the future. So they are collaborating with the other things, other sort of mm, other sort of major
Power.
powers, major players. So
Mhm.
they are not showing that we are doing that, this, but they are doing secretly. So if the Israel thinks that we are the major dominance over the area, that will be the major fault from the Israel side.
Mhm.
So because Iran already knows that we are going to hit some point from the side of Israel. So they must be aware about that. I'm not sure what sort of things they have managed within them, but there must be something. So if that kind of things, the agitation is going forward, that may cause a big harm and big problem in the future. So Iran should not go very seriously for the fighting issues, and Israel should not think that I am the dominant power over here, so I
But
can do anything
that's what we
during
can
the,
see. That's what
yeah,
we
yeah,
saw
yeah,
over their
yeah,
sky. But
yeah.
that's what the economy saw
They
during the.
show that one, but which is not true. Now, nowadays it is not true. Everything is connected from a different side. because if some enemy are coming, then simple thing, the others are also collaborating. There
Yes,
are other things
Iran,
as well.
Iran and
So
Israel to measure, I would say, measure military power in that
uh,
region.
major
And
military power, Israel has got the, definitely they have shown that we have got the very equipped
they're technologically
soldier,
sound. They're
everything.
technologically sound and advanced. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they have got. But Iran doesn't say that we are very weak. They
yeah,
are also retaliating, and that means they are also preparing from themselves,
I
because
got your point.
they have to take the action when there is a action, then they have to take the reaction on that one. So I think Iran is not very weak like the Israel thing. Iran is also some sort of powerful, I think, because they know that it is going to happen, then they have to prepare for that.
Hmm.
So they are preparing from the different connection. I doesn't mean that there should be fight between them, but for the sake of the interest of the people, they should be, the system should be very very highly advanced from the Iran side as well. Otherwise, they will put the lot of things to the Iran, then lot of humanitarian loss will happen. So there should be some connection with the Iran as well, but they are not declared outside, but seems it is going on there. After some, if the tension goes ahead, then we can feel it. But in the meantime, nobody wants to go to the war. So meantime, everything will be, they will try to mediate from the
Yeah,
different parts. Then
hopefully,
we have to hope. Yeah, we have to hope. Otherwise, yeah,
major power like
yeah,
United States and
yeah,
Western Europe will
Europe
intervene,
and China,
especially
mm,
yeah, especially
yeah,
Mr. Trump,
even
because he
even Russia.
yeah, even
Mm,
Russia,
mm,
even
mm,
um, uh,
mm,
if Mr. Trump step in, I think
yeah.
that would be the best solution for both countries to
He
de-escalate.
is the top guy for the solution. He is
Yeah,
the top guy. There is no doubt.
to
If he
de-escalate.
starts to take, yeah, if he starts to initiate the peace process, that will effective. Yeah,
Yes,
So the
on
the humanitarian crisis,
yeah,
always they go side by side.
yeah,
When war started, we spoke
yeah,
about India and Pakistan probably
yeah,
4 weeks ago, and
yeah,
um, we are hoping that those two, the nuclear power would not escalate and go for war, all scale war, but hope that we were very lucky. World War was very lucky that
mm,
it was de-escalated, and
yeah,
um, so so to de-escalating this conflict between these two countries. Um, uh, what is your opinion, that how hopeful you are that it will be de-escalate, that the tension between two countries will stop very soon, or
yeah.
it will be continuing?
I have seen some message from the news, in the American news, that we are
Mhm,
not the we are not the things that we want to war in this area. They said in the main news. That
mhm,
means they want a peaceful system in the region. So that is
mhm,
the very good news. And the other players are silent on these things.
mhm,
So I think Americans are already saying that we don't want to do this type of war and these things. So
mhm.
I think slowly this will be de-escalating, and all the other parties are coming together to de-escalate everything. So I think so. This is happening.
Yeah, we should hope for the best. Um,
Yeah.
um, Dr. Spahan, if
yes.
I could come back to you. So, if I could ask you the same questions, what Mr. Ram just explained, that how hopeful you are that war will not, the escalating in further, and it will be stopped very soon. Are you hopeful about that? What is your view about this?
So on that point, I do agree with Mr. Ram here that US does play a big role in
Mhm.
de-escalating the situation,
That's
because
correct.
it is the only country who has a veto system in UN. And
Mm-hmm.
it also has a lot of say in its own ties with Israel, for
Mm-hmm.
example. So they are very closely knit country.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
if
they're the only global superpower. So they're the
yeah,
only. Mm.
yeah, right now they are one of the biggest global superpowers. So if they actually veto the war that is going to, like, that Israel is trying to pull on Iran, then
Mm.
probably it will de-escalate. As for Iran, I don't think they would like want to start a war on their own end, because like Dr. Ram said that they might have something, but they do require more power. So for example, as you mentioned, that they do not have a dome system, or they do not have I don't know how much of their military
I don't
capacity.
say that they don't have, but what I witnessed that they don't have that much capabilities to, the especially in the air to
Mhm.
protect their skies.
Yeah, which is what I was going to come to. I was just going to say that
Mm.
I'm not going to say that they don't have, they have their own weapons,
Yeah.
but I don't think it is like so as per military aid, I think Israel has unprecedented military aid, while Iran doesn't have that. So unless Iran is backed by some other countries, for example North Korea, I don't know. So if they are like, if there is a, if there is a treaty that goes with the other countries, then this might not de-escalate. But
Yeah,
if
probably
no
probably
countries
Iran
stand up.
has got that, the S-400, the Russian system to shoot
Mhm.
down, the over the sky. But it's very well known that Israeli air defense system is the best for
Yeah, yeah.
Iron Dome. Yeah.
So I personally think that Iran wouldn't want to escalate the situation more than it is.
Hmm.
So US probably, I think US will probably step in and try not to escalate the situation from the Israel end. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we always want to see the peace and harmonious world, because living in a war and it's like living in a hell.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody wants to see that innocent people, any country, whether it's in Israel, in Iran, or any country, anywhere in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and that global economy will be affected as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know whether you see it or not, that oil prices gone up, and it
Mm-hmm.
will create inflation, further inflation, even in this country. So
Honestly, it has already created a lot of inflation. We could see that the economy is like really bad currently. So it might not have affected people with a good income, but the people with a low income, they are actually facing a lot of issues, because not only the prices for the groceries have increased, the prices for
mhm,
staying has increased, like the rents have increased, the transports have increased. It's just, it's not like, it's not something manageable at this point. If they are going to escalate the situation, it's not going to be manageable by the
mhm.
government. I don't think it is a good step for the government to even escalate the situation. And honestly, we do not want to see any of the people, like people of Palestine, people that are being occupied, or people that are being bombarded. We do not want to see all these atrocities that are going on. So hopefully that they de-escalate the situation, and then we do not see much of loss of life.
Yeah,
Uh,
all those countries should. I really don't understand that they should live in a peace and harmony to prosperous, to make them prosperous economically. Because
mm,
you know that the Gulf countries, they are very prosperous, and they are in a tension as well, like Saudi
mhm,
Arabia,
mhm,
like Qatar, like UAE.
mhm.
They, because they just put in the middle of conflict. In this regards, I would like to ask doctor, about the Jordan. Jordan is just in between the conflict. What is your what what do you feel about Jordan? How do you feel about them?
So I think even Jordan has. So right now, what we can see globally happening is that there is a very big rift between the government and the citizens. So there are a lot of rift even in Jordan itself. So Jordanian government itself do not want to escalate any of the situations. None of the country's government want to escalate the situation. They have to think about the citizens, but citizens themselves, obviously emotions play a lot of a lot part in what's going on currently. They would want to help the people in Palestine, for example. So I
Just can I just stop you
yeah,
here? They help Israel as well. They last time when Iran sent all the ballistic missiles, they shot down the Jordanian shot
yeah,
down all
yeah,
the
they do,
Israel.
they
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
They do not want to I'm pretty sure that they do not want to have any conflict anywhere.
Exactly, exactly.
And the government is the citizens do want to see certain point of view. They have their own views, but
Hmm.
government cannot hold their own views,
Hmm.
because they have to think about their citizens and how their citizens are going to benefit from anything. So that's why I don't think any government would want to escalate any of the situation, whether it be in Middle East or in West or in Russia or any of the countries. So even in Jordan, I don't think the Jordanian. That's why I think the Jordanian government isn't doing as much as the citizens want it to be
Hmm.
doing. So yeah, that's my view, I think.
So, even if I just ask if you could just tell me briefly, you tell me about Jordan, but in addition to that, there's some other country like Lebanon, Egypt, even the Gulf state. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
little worried about that situation. What do you think? Aren't they?
So I think, for example, Syria, Lebanon, and all those countries that have gone through the attacks from Israel, they do have a right to be angry on this, because this is what they've been attacking their citizens. Obviously, they will be angry. The problem here is now Middle East is in shambles, whether they need to side with their own people or whether they need to de-escalate the situation, because
Hmm.
obviously people are angry that why would they attack us for no reason. But the government are more worried about the ties, the economy, the
Hmm.
political situation that will occur later on, which is why I think there is a divide between certain countries thinking certain way and certain other countries not thinking the same way. I can give a very big example by telling you about Yemen and Saudi. Even though Saudi and Yemen are around the same areas, they do not think the same way. So
But
Yemen.
before you start about this question, I will ask Mr. Ram. I will come to you very soon. That even the Houthis, but they have got a problem with Saudi Arabia as well. This Saudis, um, the Houthis trying to send the missiles to Saudi as well. But Houthis normally they are the kind of one proxy from Iran.
Mhm.
Is
So, in my personal opinion, I do not agree with that. That whether
Mhm.
Houthis are personally from Iran, because
Mhm.
I think the reason the Yemen people would want to send missiles to Saudi or anything, because Saudi actually has conflict with Yemen for a long period of time. I don't know if it is globally known or not, but
No, I don't have any idea about that. But
yes.
um,
So Saudi has been having a global conflict with Yemen for a long, long period of time. I don't know. Maybe it could be almost 4 or 5 years now.
is it because Yemen is a Shia country, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. Yemen is a Shia country. I am not quite sure of what the conflict is about,
Mhm.
but there had been missiles thrown by the Yemen and Saudis bombarding them. So I think there is generally a tension between the two countries. So I cannot tell you whether right now Houthis retaliating to Saudi would be related to Israel or related to this conflict.
Mhm.
So that's why I am not of the opinion that Houthis are actually Iranian. Uh,
Okay,
so
I understand. I understand your point.
and that also there is a huge reason why I'm saying that is because even among Shias they have their own groups. So
Mhm.
Houthis do not belong in the same groups as Iranian Shias do. So
Okay.
that's another reason I would suggest this. But it's purely my opinion. It could be
No, no, no. I understand, and Great to know that. If I could ask Mr. Ram, uh, there is a fear that this war could, they spiral into a full-scale regional war. So, if that is the case, that all the regional parties, Middle Eastern countries like all the neighboring countries may be, uh, involved, or they might be happen to be involved in this conflict, but that would be a disaster. I mean, that would be a humanitarian disaster, so, and economic disaster, not only for the Middle East, but it would be a global economic disaster for all over the world, because the oil price will skyrocket, and the inflation will go top of the head, and no, nobody can, the control that. So, is there any chances that it could go in that kind of regional war?
Yeah, I think if the war go ahead, there is a big problem throughout the world. It will be the global one. For example, in Gulf state, UAE alone, more than 200,000 people working from the UK. That means they are displaced.
Yeah,
Also, from the South Asian countries, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, there are loads of people, around
exactly.
millions. It is nearly 100, 200 millions. All the people are displaced. All
This,
the region is going to be very, very, very frightened. All these things, all the people are in trouble. So throughout the world, and there is a chances of rising the fuel prices as well.
mhm,
That means the inflation on the top of the head every country. So
yeah,
that will be not the war alone, but every sector will be hampered. So everybody will be affected from throughout the globe. So that is the things. So this war should be any cost. It should be stopped, or it should be de-escalated by the major players. Otherwise, they have to involve in this war. The major players are coming with the small things. The major players are in the war. That means the world will be disastrous. Nobody wants that one, and
no,
nobody wants that
no,
kind of situation. So
no.
this war should be de-escalated and should be gone to the peaceful process. Otherwise, nobody will be remain unaffected by this situation. You see, the people from the UK alone, it is more than 200. I think 200,000. It is more than around. I unofficially they said it is 400, 500,000 people from here. So that means, see the situation. All
Working in UAE, working in
working in
UAE.
the UAE from the UK alone. So
Mm-hmm.
that means from the Southeast Asian countries, the people are, we don't know the exact data, but they are millions, more than 100 millions altogether. So, and in
And
Israel
with
also,
that people, if they are
displaced, then
displaced.
there will be the big problem. Their
Mm.
income activities are ceased, and their family are also in problem in their own countries. Everything is getting disaster everywhere. So we'll see the big problem. If the war is going further ahead, then nobody will be there
So,
without effect.
in that regards, we can say that there won't be any possibilities for regional war between
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
countries, the conflicting
yeah,
countries.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we can hope that, but we
Yeah.
never know what is going to happen. But let's see. I'm thinking that I'm very hopeful that the war is going to be stopped and this is going to be de-escalated, because the situation, the economic situation is of the world who are involved in the war things, warriors, they are in big trouble in the economic wise. So I think they are not going to push ahead at the moment.
Yeah.
So that is the
So
things.
I would like to ask you one more questions, because I didn't ask about
Okay.
the Ukraine war with Ukraine
Yeah,
Russia,
yeah,
because I just wanted to discuss with you just
yeah. Okay.
the
Okay.
questions I would like to ask you. That do you think that the NATO expansion is the central concern for the Russians to go and invade to Ukraine, or
That is
any
the that yeah, yeah, that is the main thing.
other?
During the Cold War,
Mhm,
before the Cold War,
mhm,
USSR wants to expand the communist social colonialism throughout the world, and America leads the capitalism one.
Mhm.
And there is a big fight among them. And by the end of 1990s, when the Russia USSR fall down, they come to the agreement that all the nuclear plants they are going to destroy side by side every year, and the main reason they are going to the Warsaw Group. The USSR wants is they seize the Warsaw Group. They have got the NATO like structure, and they come to the conclusion that okay, we will de-escalate our NATO, and you escalate your Warsaw Group, and they are agreed on that. And Putin has reminded them a lot of time. Yeah, we have done, you haven't done. You are expanding. So that will be the main reason. He has given the threat many times to the Western world. Not now, from 2002, when he came to the power, he has given that type of a message to them, and they never listen. They try to expand, 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 and finally he decide this is not true, this is not good, because what we have done the agreement they are not following, then why should I follow? That is the things, but they are not saying that we have done like that, and we are, so that is the problem. Nobody is saying that one, because those who are expanding they never want to say it like that. So
So,
that is the main reason.
so
I think so.
if I could quickly ask you, so are we witnessing the the Cold War style standoff between West and
Yeah,
Russia? Because
I
we
think
are
it is
nearly
getting
finished.
yeah, I think that it is going to the same direction. Russia
Mm,
wants like that situation, and he
mm.
is collaborating with the other major powers. Now he can't do it alone. He is collaborating slowly, slowly. Now it is getting towards the Cold War situation.
Mm.
Now
Okay,
they
Mr.
are not.
Ram,
Yeah.
we are nearly finished. I would ask quick
Mm,
questions. The same question
mm,
to Dr. Ispahan.
mm.
Dr. Ispahan, could you please answer me the same question as I asked Mr. Ram? That are we witnessing the return of a Cold War style standoff, or this is something different, or in your view?
Absolutely, I agree with Mr. Ram that this is actually a Cold War standoff, and you can actually see Russia expand this slowly by joining BRICS, for example, trying to change its currency,
Mhm,
trying to make more ties with China,
mhm,
trying to like remove all the trades from the West to Asia centric.
mhm,
So I think they want to like remove the superpowers from the West to
mhm,
a different area. I do not know which country would want to get their hand on the superpower thing, but I'm pretty sure that they do not want US or UK or any of the European country to hold any power as they do right now, and they're slowly working their ways through it. You can even see that through the oil pricing, and all the oil countries actually trying to join BRICS. For
mhm,
example, Saudi additions, new additions.
mhm.
I don't remember. I think it was Slovan or Slovak. I don't remember, but another oil country actually joined BRICS. So I think that they are going in that direction to like push superpower out of their position or out of their throne, let's just say.
And
So
they just want to create a new alliance.
yeah,
That's
they
what
want to
you're
create a
saying.
new
Mm,
alliance that
mm.
can stand toe to toe and head to
To
with
the
the West.
major
Yes. So
major power.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much to both of you. We are nearly finishing. Thank you, Mr. Ram, for your time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and thank you for your uh, uh, important opinion regarding the ongoing conflict between Iran, Israel, and also that um, the conflict between Western countries and Russia. I would like to thank Dr. Ispahan as well. You elaborately explained to our viewers about the what and how this situation escalated, and in relation to Russia and Ukraine, how this could go like a, that Cold War situation. We hope that we will make a peace. The world will make a peace. especially for the greater humanity. Peace and prosperity is required, rather than war and conflict between the countries and all the powers. Hopefully, that diplomacy will work in these situations, and the international organizations and the other major group will mediate to end the war. So, thank you again, and thank you, our viewers, for the joining with us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it will meet all of you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.